Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a really fascinating deep dive investigation. We're looking at how a mysterious and honestly seemingly disorganized hacker group just emerged out of nowhere to become a massive global digital threat. We're going to explore the incredibly fast-paced, shadowy world of cyber warfare and trace exactly how this crew managed to turn secure corporate networks into total digital ruins. Let's get right into it.
70. Just really let that number sink in for a second. 70. In just a single year, that is the exact amount of Russian companies that were completely crippled by this group's network sabotage and data destruction. We aren't just talking about a minor IT glitch here. We're talking about massive factories literally halting their production lines, complex corporate networks collapsing overnight, and critical data simply vanishing into thin air. The group responsible for this absolute chaos, they're known as Bearlyfy.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're starting with the rise of Bearlyfy, specifically how they transitioned from amateur chaos to highly organized sabotage. You know, when Bearlyfy first popped up on the radar of cybersecurity analysts back in January 2025, they really didn't look like much of a threat at all. In fact, analysts thought they severely lacked sophistication. Their methods were all over the place, their tools were totally inconsistent, and their early attacks honestly just looked like chaotic experiments. But wow, look at how fast that changed. Just a few months later, around May, they deployed this complex malware called Polyvice. Fast forward to August 2025, and they've already claimed at least 30 victims. By September, researchers catch them using powerful strains connected to heavy hitters like Lockbit Black and Babook. And then, the absolute milestone, March 2026, when they dropped GenieLocker. In a mere 15 months, they went from being experimental rookies to a top-tier threat actor. It's wild.
The escalation here was just sudden and massive. On one hand, we've got early Bearlyfy. They're going after small targets, using those experimental tools, and asking for pretty low-level extortion payouts. But then, almost overnight, we get the evolved Bearlyfy. Now they are taking down major, massive enterprises. They're utilizing notorious ransomware, and their ransom demands are suddenly exceeding 80,000 euros. It's a totally different ballgame. Let's move to and see how this builds into our next section, evolving their cyber arsenal through network and collaboration. So Bearlyfy didn't just achieve this crazy rapid evolution in a vacuum. They actually accelerated their growth by expanding their network and teaming up with some already established threat actors in the cybercrime underworld. Investigators found some really fascinating connections here. Bearlyfy started collaborating with PhantomCore, which is another pro-Ukrainian cyber operation known for hitting Russian and Belarusian targets. They also connected with a group called Headmare. But honestly, the biggest deal? They gained access to the Vice Society ecosystem. This is a highly dangerous corner of the cyber world, and it linked them straight to notorious ransomware families like Hello Kitty, Zeppelin, Red Alert, and Reseda. And that specific connection to Vice Society is what handed them the keys to Polyvice. Starting in May 2025, Bearlyfy began rolling out this modified ransomware, and getting Polyvice was a massive turning point for them. It allowed their network operations to entirely shift gears. Suddenly, their attacks became way faster, far more aggressive, and incredibly destructive. Moving right along to the anatomy of an attack and their absolute need for speed. So, traditional advanced persistent threats usually involve hackers lurking quietly inside a network for months, right? Well, not Bearlyfy. They focused entirely on pure speed. Boom, step 1, exploit vulnerable internet-facing services with almost no preparation. Step 2, infiltrate rapidly and instantly deploy remote access tools like Mesh Agent to get complete, totally unhindered control over the system. And then step 3, immediate destruction. They encrypt the files, they wipe or modify the systems, and critical data is just destroyed. It is lightning-fast infiltration followed instantly by totally devastating consequences. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a pretty chilling anomaly in how they operate. See, most ransomware acts like a machine, right? It just automatically generates these generic ransom nodes for every single victim. But Bearlyfy completely bypassed that automation. Instead of using a script, these hackers actually took the time to manually write custom, highly psychological messages. They're literally designed to get inside the victims' heads, basically weaponizing fear to aggressively pressure them into paying up.
This brings us to the GenieLocker threat and how they started developing proprietary weapons.
Unveiled in March 2026, GenieLocker is a totally custom-built proprietary ransomware strain that was designed specifically to target Windows systems. And listen, this isn't just a new piece of malware to add to the list. This is the definitive proof of Bearlyfy's maturation. By engineering their own sophisticated weapons totally from scratch, they officially graduated from being a chaotic, amateur crew into a genuine, top-tier cyber threat.
Looking closely at it, GenieLocker features proprietary engineering and very specific Windows targeting. Its encryption methods actually look a lot like the ones used in the Venus and Trinity ransomware families. But make absolutely no mistake here, the real danger of GenieLocker isn't just the code itself. The real danger is what it represents. The elevated capability, the vast resources, and the sheer undeniable sophistication of the attackers who built it.
All right, let's talk about the aftermath in our next section, profit and sabotage, or basically the business of digital fear. Because ultimately, these attacks were about more than just showing off technical skills or causing political disruption, and this brilliantly illustrates the financial reality. Despite the massive disruption, the lightning speed of their attacks, and those creepy, manually written psychological notes, only about 1 in 5 victims, so roughly 20%, actually paid the ransom. The vast majority, a full 80%, simply did not pay.
However, for that 80% that refused to pay, the operational costs were just absolutely devastating. These organizations faced complete, total production halts. Their daily business operations collapsed completely, and vital, irreplaceable customer data just disappeared. The attackers were out here making demands reaching well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, but for the victims, literally every single minute their systems remained offline equaled massive, compounding financial loss. It's a lose-lose situation. Which leads us to the broader picture, the new cyber war and the geopolitical frontline. Because Bearlyfy represents something much, much larger than standard, run-of-the-mill cybercrime. We're actually witnessing the convergence of global geopolitics, highly targeted sabotage, and ransomware all coming together. So the crucial point is that the whole Bearlyfy phenomenon proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that ordinary businesses, we're talking regular factories, logistics companies, local enterprises, they are now the primary collateral damage in modern global cyber conflicts.
Which leaves us with this really provocative thought to end on. Are organizations truly prepared for what comes next? I mean, we've just watched how a group of seemingly inexperienced hackers can evolve into an apex global threat in just over a single year. The cyber landscape is shifting incredibly fast, it's almost hard to keep up. If you found this explainer insightful and you want to keep learning about these complex digital threats as they evolve, make sure to subscribe, because the truth is the next major cyber attack, well, it might already be underway. Thanks so much for joining me.